Movement is a move-based Ethereum scaling solution. We believe in ETH as asset class and Ethereum DeFi, and want to bring novel scaling solutions to bring the principles of Aptos, Sui, and DM blockchains to other audiences.
G-Move, I really have to be honest. The only reason I wanted to do this episode is to see Rushi's banger mustache live and maybe talk a little about his journey, the Move token, and mainnet beta. This is BlockHunters Voices, the podcast with cool kids from the blockchain space. I'm Akim Viz, your host. It's been a minute, Rushi. How are you, brother?
I'm good. This has been really hectic, but it's good to see you.
Great. I want to start a little from the beginning and give all the communities a little bit of context about who Rushi is and how Rushi did everything for the moment that is today. So you started coding at 16, diving into Solidity and quickly discovering its limitation. Coop, when you had the interview, mentioned how you two met in college and ended up working with the same language, Move. But I'd love to hear your perspective. What drew you into crypto and what inspired you to create such a unique protocol at a young age?
Yep, that's pretty accurate. Oh, you say it was a question of how you do say young age?
Yeah, what inspired you to create such a unique protocol at a young age?
Yeah. So, I've always been interested in kind of distributed systems. I was the youngest hire at United Health Group, which is a big health insurance company in the United States. And kind of my thesis was really excited about distributed systems and a more level of architecture. I think August 2022, I was in college and read this article that said Facebook is building a new programming language. And was really excited about that because I was used to like 10 users on Ethereum and 4 users on Cosmos. And here was the opportunity for Facebook to bring 1 billion users to crypto. And this was like 5 years back, 6 years back, when basically no one thought crypto was going to make it. And today, like obviously, the regulation landscape has changed a lot. We have a new administration, and the DM project today would have been a lot more successful, I would say. But yeah, I was in college, was interested by Move, built the first DEX on Aptos. Cooper built the first yield aggregator. November 2022, we started Movement, and it was a very ambitious idea. The thesis was we believed in Move as language, as thesis, but thought that there could be better work done in terms of bringing even liquidity, bringing community, go-to-market strategy. So that kind of led to where Movement is today. And I think Movement has done a good job in 2 major things. Ecosystem building. We have more teams funded ecosystem projects than Movement Labs itself. As well as we believe that we have a very strong community, and Viju even kind of involved. There's a funny story about how I met Viju. We were in Barcelona, and Viju reached out and he said, "I'll fly over and meet you." And for me, this was. I mean, I think you've also BlockHunters has come a long way. You guys have grown your brand. Congrats on the success that you guys have had, particularly. But it was very heartwarming to me because you were in Romania at the time, and you took the time to fly all the way to Barcelona. And I think like that was a very warm moment to me because community members and people that we didn't even meet before that reached out, and now you guys are a core partner, like investor, supporter, node operator, infrastructure, and it's just great to have the relationships that we met across the industry. So first of all, congrats on all you guys have done. BlockHunters, everyone talks about you guys as kind of a blue chip infrastructure provider now.
Thank you for the kind words, brother. I want to circle around what you said you have built the first DEX on Aptos, and I want to know what key lessons from that experience are now shaping how you approach building Movement.
Yeah, I think like building the DEX on Aptos post-FTX was really difficult. There was 20 million in TVL on Aptos, and people, this was post-FTX when everyone left crypto, basically, right? So it was the worst time to really start building and Move. But I think like some of the positive lessons we learned was because it was after a collapse, the community that was there was very, very hardworking and kind of loyal. It was long time crypto maxis, and everyone kind of knew that crypto would be back. It was a matter of time of just cycles. And second, we learned that liquidity was really important. Even today, like liquidity in Apps and Suite is still like not that organic, and I think there's a lot of work to be done to bring EVM assets and EVM liquidity to move-based chains. So the thesis was bringing ETH as an asset class. We still believe in ETH. ETH hit 4K today. So it's ETH as an asset class and Ethereum liquidity is still very strong, and should be used everywhere. So the point of movement is to bring Ethereum liquidity, Ethereum trust minimized bridge, and have that in native apps. So the DEX that was on Aptos when it had 20 million TVL now could deploy on top of movement, have native ETH, have USDC, and a bunch of Ethereum-based assets natively.
Going back a little, as you said earlier, you've started working after FTX collapse. So how did launching during crypto winter shape your decisions and strategy? I mean, that's not easy, you know. A lot of people lost everything, you know, after that hope and everything crypto is dead, you know, the usual talk.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was very, very difficult for me because me and Cooper were in college. We didn't have like a flashy background. No one really knew us. So we were like, Cooper sold his car to pay our developers when we first started off. So it was very difficult and honestly rocky times. And oftentimes we were like, this might not work. We might have to like get a job or something. But I think ultimately what it taught us was like resilience. We were able to like got hundreds of no's from investors that said we were too young, and then people said Move was dead and Move was does Aptos 2 or failures, because everyone was bearish Move at the time. Everyone's like EVM maxis, and it's not EVM, it's going zero. And today, Aptos and Sui are the two most performing coins in this bull market, right? So I think a lot of people missed it out on the trade. I'm excited for people to kind of get a chance. But I think,
how did you, please?
Yeah, I think like we believe in the tech. Like I know it sounds corny, but like Aptos and Sui today, and the Move thesis was always bringing the best tech to adoption, bringing the future of Facebook to crypto. And even when FTX collapsed and the price was not doing well, we still believe in the thesis, and I think it's paid off a lot in today's market.
I was wondering, how did you handle proving your space at such a young age? You know, I mean, I'm sure you have faced a lot of skepticism or doubt because of you being young and everything, you and Coop.
Yep. I think like generally, like, I mean, it's been a lot of like obviously people doubting and like saying no, and even today like there's a lot of like stuff on Twitter. But directionally, I think it's about taking failure, taking rejection, and turning that into fuel. Yeah, I think it's like it's part of the job at this point.
It's part of the job. That's true words. You have to keep grinding, man. You know.
Yep, of course.
For those who live under a rock, what exactly is movement, and why did you choose to build move-based L2 specifically?
Yeah, we try to avoid the word L2. I would say movement is a move-based Ethereum scaling solution. We believe in ETH as an asset class and Ethereum DeFi, and want to bring novel scaling solutions to bring the principles of Aptos, Sui, and DM blockchains to other audiences. So the best way to think about it is move on Ethereum. You have the ability to execute high throughput, parallelized transactions, have fully formal verified vaults and kind of DeFi strategies with Ethereum liquidity. Technically, you can say it's L2, you can say it's a rollup, you can say it's a sidechain. I don't really care. But the thesis is having a bridge to Ethereum with a move-based execution environment.
Could you walk us a little about how this hybrid approach works in practice? Because it's something new. I've never seen a roll-up using Move.
Yeah. So I mean, it works similarly to like Arbitrum Optimism, etc., where you have the EVM execution environment that has a bridge to the L1. So there's native ETH that directly comes into DeFi apps. I think our architecture is a little bit different in that we have this concept called post confirmations, which essentially use a set of attesters to provide fast finality for executions, which obviously tends to be controversial because it's a question of does that inherit all of Ethereum security? But my counter argument to that is I don't care. The only thing that matters to users is DevX and UX. If a user can have low latency, fast finality transactions, and it works, talks, and looks like a Ethereum-based scaling solution, no one really cares. I would say that Ethereum layer 2s today have rather struggled. Besides Base, I would say maybe Arbitrum. No one really uses Ethereum layer 2s, generally because performance is pretty poor. I use Solana today, I use Sui today. The performance is 10x, the DevX is 10x. So our job is to kind of bring the principles of those fast L1s to Ethereum.
And what kind of technical challenges in movements development surprised you the most?
Yeah, I think what's most surprised me, I can give two answers. Obviously, like we've seen a rapid growth in price expansion, and like you look at the Move VM growth rate, it's surpassed Solana in the first 2 years. Developer growth rate is also increasing. When Move came out, it was at 3.5%. Today, it's at around like 9.5% of monthly active developers, and then we expect this time next year it'll have 14.2%. So the Move developer growth rate has outpaced Solana's, which often goes under the radar because everyone's on Solana. But I think by this time next cycle, we will see Move be the Move be the main programming environment.
Movement has seen an impressive community growth. What strategies have been most effective in building excitement among users and attracting talented builders to create the next-gen applications to Move?
Yeah, I think there's two major things. First is performance, the ability to have high throughput transactions, not be limited by TPS as a bottleneck. So if you're building a fully on-chain order book, you're building a fully on-chain kind of mobile predictions app. Right now on Ethereum, you would have high gas fees and pretty poor UX. So by building on Move VM, you have the ability to have high throughput transactions, parallelized execution, and a bunch of that stuff. And then secondly, formal verification is incredibly important. The ability to have secure smart contracts, not get hacked, and have better DevX for users is pretty important as well.
How do you think about the relationship between Move security features and the validator economics?
Yeah, I think what's interesting about us is that most L2 tokens or Ethereum scaling tokens are meme coins. They're mostly governance tokens. So with Movement, we have Move as gas fee, we have Move staking via the node operators that we'll have. So BlockHunters will be running a node and be able to eventually stake Move once that comes out. So it talks and works more like L1 today than I would say L2 typically does. I think Polygon POS is more analogous, where it's Ethereum scaling, but still has kind of L1 metrics and L1 design. And that's kind of direction we'd like to go in.
Movement recently announced its tokenomics, the Move drop, and mainnet beta. Can you share the vision behind it? What makes it unique, and what are you looking forward?
Yeah, I mean, one thing on tokenomics takes 60% going to community. I think like a lot of tokenomics recently have been pretty predatory. There's like points programs, like TVL farming, and usually retail gets dumped on. I think most L2 launches today have underperformed, and people aren't really happy with L2 tokenomics recently. So our job is to probably correct some of those issues and hopefully have a successful L2 launch. And I think in terms of mainnet beta, I think like now node operators can run nodes. You can check out Transactions Explorer. We'll have Genesis NFTs, and then have Move deposits. So if you have Move and you purchase Move, acquire Move, you can deposit those in LSTs like Thunderhead, Meridian, etc., Movernance, and acquire a liquid staked Move. So you can do that starting next week.
But you've decided to launch the movement on Ethereum mainnet before the actual chain goes live. Why did you choose this approach, and what were the key considerations that led to this decision?
So there actually is, there is a mainnet live today. We announced it yesterday. So the chain is, you can run nodes and see transactions. The main thesis was launching Ethereum. You have custody support and the ability to get to market without having to pay extraneous difficulty for infrastructure providers. And I think generally when we look at our architecture, the thesis is to build up security for the Move token. So if you hold Move, you deposit Move, all the Move that is staked or deposited will be used.
And right now we can purchase Move pre-mainnet on several exchanges, right? And we are waiting for the launch next week.
Correct. Yep.
And what's a key insight about the infrastructure level product market fit that most people miss, like the L2s you are talking about?
Yeah, I think like the main thing ultimately is like the ecosystem, right? So the tech is one thing, and we can sit here and talk about like nomenclature, but most L2s today don't really have a vibrant ecosystem or vibrant community. Like I can't name one app on majority of these L2s that people use, especially native ecosystem. They're usually like EVM forks that don't actually have much differentiation. With Movement, we have move-based apps that can go are native to movement that people love and use, like Bracket, like Meridian, like Echelon. So I think we've done a good job of uniquely being kind of in a good position.
And regarding the testnet ran, I don't know, approximately 5 months.
Yep.
How did it shape the mainnet, and what was the overall experience for this?
Yeah, I mean the testnet was pretty impactful for the mainnet. We we were able to like kind of bootstrap our initial user base. We had over 15 million wallets that now will be we're kind of cutting down, but those will be the users for the airdrop as well. I think what was really interesting is that we had a pretty short testnet period. Most L2s farm for like years. I think some of the recent launches were 2+ years. Our testnet was like 4 months, so I feel like users didn't have to pay anything to use a movement chain. It was free. It was only lasted 4 months. So overall, it was least predatory kind of environment for users.
Thank you for this, Rushi. I'm really curious, how do you stay focused and navigate the challenges of market conditions, community sentiment, and dealing with FUD on Twitter?
Yeah, I
Especially in
mean,
those
like,
times right now, Bitcoin at 100K, but you still have a lot of FUD on everything. People
yeah,
FUD.
yeah. I mean, I think like FUD is part of the game, and I tweet about this. Like, if you're doing something right, you're getting flooded. If you're not getting flooded, you're doing something wrong. There'll always be FUD. There'll always be people saying like you did this wrong, and people will FUD about airdrop, and people will FUD about these things. But ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, all that matters is a good ecosystem, a good product, and being fair to the community. So I think like like I probably get flooded every other week at this point, and you kind of get used to it over time.
And what advice would you give to developers considered building on movement?
What advice? I would say, first of all, don't like go like. Sometimes people will be like, "I'm gonna deploy movement and bear chain," and then try to like play me and Smokey against each other. When people know that me and Smokey are like best friends, basically. So if you're gonna build on movement, like don't try to be multiple ecosystem. Like choose an ecosystem, believe in the tech, believe in the team, and go all in. Don't try to do this like, okay, I'm gonna grant farm multiple different founders and see what happens. That doesn't end well for you, and we've seen few recent projects that have tried to farm me, Bear, Mana, etc., and see who can give most amount of money, and then ended up we all just pulled that and said go on your own. You have to like don't try to game the system and don't try to like extort from people. Just go to a community that you like, an ecosystem you like, and choose it for not monetary reasons. Choose it for like, okay, I believe in this technology, this infrastructure, and then once you show commitment, that's kind of when the rest gets taken care of. So the kind of protocols that we believed in and backed are folks that chose a bet on movement, not because we promised them X amount of money, but because they believed in who we were.
I think that is the right approach, and I see that all the all the good ecosystems are going with that approach, because we've seen in
Yeah.
the past how people are just copy pasting, building software on ecosystems that give grants, right? And
Yep.
they just leave. What's the
Yep.
most interesting use case you've seen built on movement that wouldn't work well elsewhere?
I think Bracket is the one I often cite. Bracket is a swipe to bet prediction market. The current state of prediction market is the Apollo market, which is like the big kind of liquidity hub for elections. But generally, they are not mobile friendly. If you look at the younger audiences like Gen Z, they like TikTok, they like Instagram, LinkedIn, etc. All swipe to bet, swipe to earn, swipe to all these different things. So what Bracket does essentially, you can bet on different smaller audiences. So you can bet on basketball games, you can bet on football games, you can bet on like rugby games, and it's all swiping. So you can be like, okay, your favorite games, and just do like 30 bets in 3 seconds. So with movement, you have the high throughput environment that enables you to enable all these transactions per second. But secondly, like you can safeguard user funds without being considered about losing funds or anything. So I think generally we've done a good job of cultivating a mobile-friendly consumer ecosystem, as well as focusing on high secure DeFi, where users can deploy capital and not worry about getting hacked. So spending a lot of time with that as well.
And if I'm not mistaken, you are friends with the guys from Beckett. You went to the high school or something together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had the space with him. He told me that he knew Rushi from back in the day.
Yeah, of course. I think it's a Henry team that you're referring to, but the bracket team is also we knew for a while.
Beyond movement, which area of crypto are you personally most excited about?
Which area of crypto?
Not L2s. I know you're not excited about L2s.
I think before I was really uninterested in moving interested in crypto and AI, but I do think the crypto and AI makes a lot of sense. AI agents specifically, we've been seeing a rise of, but like even Coinbase talked about this and other exchanges where the future of on-chain transactioning is AI agents, where let's say, for example, you have automation for yield products, you'll have AI agents kind of transacting, you'll have AI agents doing peer-to-peer payments, like kind of managing like payroll as well. So the future is AI agents, and the software they'll use is crypto because it's programmable. So yeah, couldn't be more bullish on crypto and AI.
We are entering the final chapter of the podcast, and we want to wrap things up with some rapid fire questions to get a sense of where your head's at when it comes to crypto. So for this one, just quick top of mind answers. What's the most underrated and overrated idea in crypto right now?
Overrated idea, roll-ups as a service. I think like there's a lot of RAS providers, but I would say like it's very like I don't believe that there will be like you need to use a RAS for release chain. So I'm kind of bearish for roll-up as services. Underrated, I would say. I'm trying to think. Again, like AI agents, I would say is underrated, but honestly, DeFi. People have been saying like people aren't really focused on DeFi. People focus on other stuff, but ultimately everything is DeFi. Using a consumer app, using a gaming app, it all comes on DeFi. So I think like DeFi is always going to be around and it'll just be in different manners.
Top 3 most used crypto apps?
Top for me?
Yeah, for you.
Let's see. I mean, obviously Polymarket's up there. I actually use Familiar a lot, which is Zucky's like yield management protocol, and I think most of my ETH is in a Familiar. And lastly, I love Athena. Guy's a close personal friend. Athena, 27% on stable. It's like you can't get that anywhere else.
What problem in crypto do you think most urgently needs solving?
Wallets. It's too difficult to using MetaMask today makes me want to kill myself.
Maybe UX is gonna have to be, right?
Yeah.
What keeps you going through the tough times?
I think I just like passion. I'd say ultimately, like, I've loved startups. I've always believed in kind of a better future via venture and enterprise. I think like even if things don't work out or something goes wrong, ultimately I believe in myself and believe in the team I assembled. So regardless, I think we'll make that.
Thank you for this, Rushi. It was really great talking with you again and seeing you and seeing the legendary mustache. Thanks for hopping in. Exciting times ahead. G-Move, brother.
G-Move, man. Thanks for having me.